This is 180 degrees from an ordinary Chinese. Most of the Chinese restaurants, they don't pay much attention to the decor. So I want to do something that I want to say that no, Chinese restaurant can be just as nice as any other restaurants. The atmosphere, the decor, the food, the service, and everything. I would definitely recommend our honey glazed walnut shrimps, our Peking duck with the orange sauce. It's not your typical Chinese. The name started when my father had it. He had a small place across the street. He wanted to have a very friendly place. He always said that when people walk in, it's our guest, it's our friend, it's not our customer. So that's why he named it Friendships. My dad is not here now, but I like to think that he is here around, he's watching. So I'm continuing his legacy, I guess. Yeah, so with a twist.
So Anya, you say that you can feel the chef's passion for the food here at Friendship. Tell us why you chose it.
I've been going to Friendship for almost 2 years. I started going there when I was working in the neighborhood, and my boss took me there. And my first experience was like, wow, I'm not in Chinatown, I'm in the middle of Logan Square, and I was really surprised by it. And from the first bite, I can say that I loved it. And what makes it even more better is that I feel that chef doesn't care only about the food. He really cares about the whole atmosphere. I think he has a great input into designing the place. He changes the decor every so often. He put new lights, very romantic lamps over the tables.
Anya said something interesting. She's called it romantic.
I'd have to agree with her.
Because you don't hear Chinese restaurants in romantic.
Again, it's one of those places, when you drive by, you'll drive by it all the time because the sign is small. And it's one of those places, it's put in between a bunch of different buildings. But once you get inside, it's unbelievable. I mean, the atmosphere is completely different. It's very modern. It's not your typical little Chinese place.
No, it's surrounded by Mexican taquerias, Polish buffets, and it's not the place where you expect your Chinese food. And
you walk in, right, and you think that it's going to be a very dive, hole-in-the-wall type of restaurant because everything around there are kind of smaller, kind of carry-out places.
It's very narrow.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's,
Yeah, and then you walk in, and you're like, oh, wow, because it's beautiful, it's well lit, it's modern, all the things you were saying.
Now, Angeli, the owner, Alan, describes his food as 180 degrees away from Chinese food. Tell us why you think he describes it like that.
Well, I think that he has slightly different takes on Chinese food. I definitely felt like there were some Thai influences in there. It's not just, kung pao chicken and chow mein and things that you see on a normal Chicago Chinese menu. I ordered an appetizer sampler, which was delicious. And so first of all, this is a meal in and of itself. It's 5 or 6 different, appetizers for sharing, but it's a ton of food. The appetizers definitely whet my appetite, because they were delicious. I was really excited because I have a hard time finding good Chinese places outside of Chinatown. The problem is that a couple of the entrees kind of fell short. So I had a kung pao eggplant that was amazing. It was delicious. My other 3 entrees that I was sharing with friends weren't really edible. And I hate to say it because I had high expectations. And I think that maybe I misordered because I've heard good things from a lot of people. But I had this coconut wasabi chicken, and the sauce was curdled.
Really? I had it once and I liked it.
Yeah,
Really?
that was the meal I picked. That, and we also had the shrimp and scallops.
Okay.
The wasabi chicken I thought was excellent. Everything about it was great. I thought it was excellent.
So did you have shrimp and scallops?
I didn't have shrimp and scallops. The other ones that I had a peppercorn beef, and it was very, very fatty. And again, we couldn't really eat it.
Wow. I mean, I had all of the things that you mentioned, and I've never felt anything like that.
Well, I mean, like I said, the appetizers and the kung pao eggplant were amazing. So I was a little surprised that I had the other extreme, you know.
Anya, what are some of your other favorite items that you always order there?
My best thing at Friendship is honey walnut shrimp, which I think is a really brilliant recipe because you don't see it very often in other Chinese places. I also like Mongolian beef, which is very simple, but the beef is always tender. It just falls almost apart because it's so tender. That's why I'm a little surprised that you ordered spicy peppercorn beef, and I think Mongolian beef is a little bit. It's close to it, and when you say that the beef wasn't edible, I'm just truly shocked. Like, how and why?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those. I mean, it might be one of those. You know, maybe they were just having an off night because, like I said, the appetizers were amazing.
Now, did the crowd in there look like they knew about this place before? Was it a lot of locals, or?
When I went in there, there was like 6 people at the front, and so I was like, okay, you know, and I says, well, I have a reservation, and they're like, oh, no, and I was like, well, don't you want to see these people first? And they're like, no, we're here for the carry out, but you know, it's shame on them. If they're getting the food and going home, they're missing the whole show within the restaurant.
Oh,
because,
thank you very much for this opinion. I love it.
The presentation at the restaurant was excellent. I mean, the people, you know, I mean, even the people that were there, they were having a good time. Where, you know, if you're just taking the food and going home, you're experiencing a great meal and a lot of it and everything else where, you know, it's really, you know, satisfying. But you're missing the whole show.
Yeah.
The show is the restaurant.
So this isn't your normal takeout.
No.
All right, Anya, well, you picked Friendship Chinese Restaurant. Give us a summary.
It's a classy, stylish place that is not pretentious. It will give you the Chinese cuisine that is not ordinary. It's 180 degrees from your ordinary Chinese.
Angeli.
Beautiful restaurant in the inside. I think you need to know what to order, get some recommendations before you come, and great appetizers.
All right, George.
Go to it. Don't just order carry out. Great place, great atmosphere. I really enjoyed it and can't wait to go back.
All right. Well, you can make new pals at Friendship Chinese Restaurant, 2830 North Milwaukee Avenue, 773-227-0970. Open for lunch and dinner every day. Reservations are accepted. Alcoholic beverages are BYOB, and the average tab per person is $24.